Peace and blessings, family, and welcome to Tea Time at Harmony. We invite you to come take this journey with us. This journey to holistic healing. Let's go.
We are rolling.
You still at the house? Oh, y'all, we are back at the house. Right? Bringing them back. We back in the house. And this time she came through. She said, I ain't busting. I'm just going to show up. What time y'all going to be there? I'm going to show up.
Show up. That's right. What they say, show up and show
Yep.
out. There you go.
Show out. Welcome back. Y'all, welcome back. Thank you for coming through. We see you. I see you. Ooh, let's see. We done been taking some journeys, and she busted us wide open talking about something. Came up in here right on time talking about the whole person couple. So what I do is, oh no, that's right. You know how long I've been doing this, and the whole person. Oh, and we didn't even have to plan that shit out. She walked in here. I was like, that's how we flow. We don't even plan it, y'all. We freestyling. I want y'all to know that. We thought we was gonna do that. Everybody needed a script. We said we ain't doing that. Scratch that script shit. So. We here and we back. We still making it. Y'all out there? You're with us? So we talked about African-centeredness, this modality, our treatment, our philosophy. Why is it for everyone? We've talked about the whole person, and that's what we talk about. Why? Because we are connected and we're talking about the whole person. One of the things that I thought about, and one of our sisters brought, our Latino sister was thinking about how this impacts Black and brown people. And we're sorry. We're not sorry. We're missing her though. Indiana, we was hoping you would be here with us, and we know you got stuff going on. Be safe. But thinking about that, right? When we think about Black and brown communities, and you know what I'm saying, I thought about you because when you came into the family, she came in, so this is some when we talk about history. She came into the family, she came in this whole thing of being really bothered. And Maria, I don't know if you're listening, but she was bothered that her daughter was telling her that she ain't Black. And she had a fit. I don't know who she thinks she's talking to, because I'm Black.
Yes.
And I laughed because my family is mixed as well. I have family that's Boricua. I have family that's Dominican. I have family that's Costa Rican. And I have family that's West Indian. So growing up, everybody's Black. Whether you spoke whatever language, I just know you made the gandules, you made the curd chicken, you made this. Like that was the thing growing up. It was very different. So when she came into the family with that, I was like, she didn't have this awareness that other people didn't see themselves as Black. It was this weird thing. She was like, "What you mean?" It's like the same way you got white Spaniards who was just like, oh, I didn't think about that because I don't identify that way. Right. So when we talk about how does this work that we do, and how and why some Latino communities don't see themselves included when we talk about African-centered or Blackness. And there is some things in the community about anti-Blackness. And one of the things, and I want your perspective, saying that everybody know who he is, right? Y'all remember us?
San.
Charlene.
Mama Bay. And if you don't know, go back and watch the other episodes.
Absolutely.
So that you know that you know.
Yes.
What does that look like? Like, as a Latino, whatever. First, talk to us about your identity. How do you identify?
So I identify as myself as a Black woman. I'm Black and Puerto Rican. You asked me, I'm Black and Puerto Rican. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
Ooh, why is it Black and Puerto Rican?
And I've been, it's funny. I was gonna start with what I said and then go into, and now I am learning that there's no separation on it, and it brings back to growing up. We were Puerto Rican, and that's it. There was no Black about it. Even though my grandfather was Black, Ace of Spades. Even though my aunts, we look like the Rainbow family, right? And I always knew, just been told, Puerto Rican, that's it. And then as I grow older, and I'm like, I'm Black too. You can't tell me I'm not. Like, the heritage, the more I'm reading, look at where we're coming from. And now going back and really analyzing from young to now, all the racism, the anti-blackness that was even just in my family, period. And then around and going to school, going to visit PR for the first time, going to play, I was called La Gringa. Pero yo no soy gringa. That means you're a white girl, and I'm not.
Oh, wow.
I'm light-skinned because I look different than others. Then I was judged by it.
Wow.
Oh, my sister and I, my sister is, well, your color, but she has, you know, kinky or coily hair, is soft, but it's super, super tight. So she gets what is known as the shrink back, right? And I don't. So she would be like, "Oh no, you're not black. You can't say that."
Wow.
So the racism right there, and I
Ooh,
fought.
take a pause. What's racism?
Racism is the judgment from skin to skin, is what,
No, it's
and
not.
the derogatory and the privilege. That's what I would say racism is.
So I want to take a pause with that because that's been an issue. That's not racism. Racism is systematic. Racism is using power and privilege to deny access and power to others. Using power and privilege to access resources, money, and things systematically to deny a group based on perceived race access, and using power and control to do that. And there's no such thing as reverse racism because blacks and people of oppressed groups don't have the dominant power and control. So there might be discrimination, there might be bias. That's not racism. And that has been a narrative this nation has carried on so that we think these things are racism and we talk about it lightly so that we don't see what real racism is and disrupt it.
Well, thank you for that education. I definitely am like, stop being racist against me. So,
What else we got here?
What?
Hey.
Welcome.
What's going on?
Come on in.
Look at that. Hey, family.
Hey, family.
Hey.
Yeah.
Come
We
on,
have a
join
seat
us.
for you
Look at
right
you.
here.
Got a mic,
Yeah.
you official?
You
Oh,
are
yeah.
official.
We are filming.
You're going to be holding it. Anybody else in the house? It looked like I saw people
I think
peeking through.
Sands here too.
No, I think it was
Is it Sands?
Oh, no,
yeah.
Sands here.
What?
Come on
ready.
in.
Show that. Y'all just popped in.
Yeah, there we go.
Y'all, that's comfy.
So are they?
Well, listen, this
Are
is
they
actually-
sharing the middle mic?
Yep.
Okay, so you want me to continue to keep this one this way? Okay.
Hey, family.
What's
Get them hugs.
Gotta hold it.
up?
Are we able to get some of them hugs in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what I love is this is a perfect a perfect caption of who the hell we are. Like family, they just be busting shit wide open. Like, oh, I know I said I was coming through and then I didn't, and I'm here. Oh, well, come on in. Well, I sit on the floor. It brings me back to one of the old offices where it was so small and people just be sitting on the floor. We used to be on the floor. Then we didn't even have seating, but we were serving the people and people were still coming. There was no room. Brought me back to that. So as y'all came in this week, we glad to have y'all here this week. And so now, because you're here, you're going to have to come back next week. You're going to have to come back for the next journey. We've been on a journey, y'all. So we started off the first journey about African-centered healing. Ooh, that one was down the thing.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about the whole person.
Right.
And this week we was thinking about that whole person and what this looked like. And Sam was actually, and she's going to finish sharing her story about being black and Puerto Rican is what she said. And I was like, oh, I want to hear more about that. Like, you're not a black Puerto Rican or a white? Like, because colorism is such a thing for us in the community. And we were going into that because we've heard that. Like, how do Latinos fit into our model, our idea, our culture? I was like, what the hell that mean? And it brought me back, I want to share this and I want to hear more and y'all thoughts about that and what that looked like, right? Being in a community. So at the coalition, we were talking about these things on difference, and we had all these groups and they were talking about, well, don't forget veterans and don't forget LGBTQ, don't forget reentry people. And I was like, who said, like, are we assuming that they're not in all of these communities? And it was like this thing, and people were like, but no, they're unseen. And I said, but that's been the issue in our community. That they're really not invisible. Is y'all asses don't see them. Y'all asses turn your head. Your asses ignore them. They're not. We got to stop framing our stuff as deficits. We're not voiceless. We don't need to speak. We got voices. Y'all don't hear us. You don't want to listen. Let's start framing it from the power's perspective. Stop giving it from a deficit of people, of the people's perspective. And so when I hear that about what's Latinos, well, who's that? And I said, well, people start assuming that some of us are not Latino, have Latino backgrounds in our family. And I see that because it depends where, right? I get to DR and they put me in the line for DR natives, right? They, without me saying anything. Certain places where I am, they'll assume or not. In other places, I've had Latinos see my skin color and be talking to me in English, and when I already understand what they're saying in Spanish, they're like, oh, I say, oh, my family, Boricua, my family, they taught me Spanish when I was little. But it's that constant assumption. And they be darker, like she was just talking about her, what she said, her granddad. I hope the family don't go back and tell granddad. I hope granddaddy don't come for you saying, but he was black as an ace of spades or something.
Damn.
Pablo.
Midnight black.
Listen.
Yeah, man.
Really
I
scared.
actually didn't know you had both. I did not know that.
Well, this is what you said it perfectly. So what we were just learning now is I had separated also, right? I'm black and Puerto Rican, and now doing even much more research, there is no separation from the black and Puerto Rican. So now I am changing my language to more of an Afro-Latina, and that is because the way I identify, right? Because there are Puerto Ricans. My father, for example, I asked him one day, I said, Dad, I was curious. So, Daddy, you know, when you go to fill out an application or things like that, and you have the boxes, nationality and ethnic, I said, Papi, what do you put on there? He says, pues, mija, white. And I was offended for him. Like, wait, how are you putting white on there? He says, because you don't see my skin, I'm white. I have blue eyes. I said, okay, your mom,
That's how they do it.
Grandma was Irish. However, Grandpa Pablo's was 100% Puerto Rican. And, okay, if you want to identify with only your white part, or because you see your skin as white, and that's what you think you are, I don't agree with you, because if you look at the peoples from Puerto Rico, we are indigenous people. We derive from Taínos, the Boriquen. That's where we got Boricua from. So when the Taínos lived, the indigenous people, they lived on the lands was called Boriquen.
Oh, I always wondered where Boricua came from.
Boricua derives from Boriquen.
Oh, the land.
Oh.
Our music, the original music of PR was bomba. Bombas it comes from enslaved Africans.
And indigenous and Native American.
Yeah. So it's like we're saying all these things and not truly understanding and doing research from what we're saying, because this is what we were taught, right? I can say, my grandmother, 10 kids, she favored the lighter ones, even though my grandfather was the shade of this mic.
So I'm gonna challenge you.
Yeah.
Because when you said you felt offended because he identified, you said with the white part of him. What were you perceiving as the white part of him?
Grams,
What is that? What do you mean?
because she's Irish.
And so Puerto Rican's not white?
No.
Listen.
Yeah, no, they are. They're some.
Right.
Yep.
That's so because we have been trained. One, there's a construct of race.
Yeah.
There's really no such thing. Two, we have been trained to mix ethnicity and nationality.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rican is not a nationality as much as people tell us. It's a state that is part. It's an island that is part of the United States, right?
Yeah.
That is the whole thing that we get mixed up. Because if it is supposed race, there's white and there's black.
Right.
And even now, identify Asian. There can be Asian Puerto Ricans, blacks, and whites. It's the interesting thing. Even if we're using that construct, we've been duped and bamboozled thinking. And I had a friend that was from Brazil years ago, and she was like, yeah, we get here. My mom is like, we're Brazilian. At home, we chocolate. Like, I understood that. She said, we get here, all of a sudden we're Brazilian. And I was like, and she said, Mommy, what do you mean? What's different? Well, because, no, we're not black. She was like, you a lie. She couldn't understand it. Because anti-blackness. Because knowing you come into the U.S. and you know in the world what it means to be black, we need our proximity to whiteness.
Right.
To be able to gain, that is racism. To be able to gain access to power and privilege and resources. My proximity to whiteness is what determines my access. Whiteness isn't about, Irish is a nationality. It's from Ireland. We're called Americans. Irish and Americans, there's white Irish and it could be a black Irish person.
Right.
That is why we're so confused and why we quickly and why we. So as before y'all came in, she was saying how her family did, and that was racist. And I was like, what's racism? Because that's not racism. It is one, confusion, bias, discrimination, and a lot of it's confusion. Shit, let's name that.
Right.
So that was a major thing, and it was intentional to cause that separation. Like she talked about her hair being different than her sister's. Yeah, hair texture means something different in Latino and black culture. And why is black and Latino culture separate? Because there are blacks in every Latin nation.
Which they say is the malo.
Right.
The hair, eso malo, which is bad. You have bad hair.
Listen to, look at Reese's face.
Yeah, I ain't a fan of that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about what or how your grandfather responded when you said, I don't agree with your perspective of yourself.
Right.
My dad, he said, he told me, why are you trying to be something that you're not? He says, you don't check off white? I said, absolutely not. Never have. He says, but you're light like me. I said, no, Daddy, you white. And that, it is what it is. I said, you white. You got blue hair. He says, well, you light skinned too. He said, your sister can put black. You cannot. And then the family is like, you can't, something about driving in a certain area. You're going to get us killed out here. You thinking that we can do everything just because you can do everything? And I'm not thinking the way that they think.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm just like you. And I'm not thinking that they're saying like, well, you can pass, so there's certain things you can do that I can't. And that, it hurt me, and I took a lot of offense until I started reading and doing my best to take their perspective and understand. And it's not my fault that I look the way that I look. And I know who I am. I know what blood runs through my veins.
So I'm gonna bring another perspective.
Okay.
Y'all know where I'm going with that?
Go ahead.
With black and brown people, that is what white people tell us. It's not my fault I have white skin, but you get a privilege and a benefit to your white skin. White is not about being Irish. It has been about the skin and passing, because blacks who was able to pass as white, that's why people claim white. Is to be able to get access and not be denied. Safety.
Ethnicity. They was thinking
Yes.
strictly race.
That's
skin
what I'm
color,
telling
skin
you.
tone.
That is white people's, that's been the thing, is that it's not, and it is true. You can't change how you've been born.
However,
You have been afforded access and privilege to something that other skin colors have not. And that is, because of Latino culture has not been talked about, the colorism and all of the things, because they've had the same oppressors, Spaniards and British. Because it's been an intentional divide and control, divide and conquer. We believe that we're separate, we're better than or not. But hold on, you just got a different slave master. You just got a different slave name and slave language.
Right.
You speak Spanish, you speak Creole and French, because the French were the slave masters, the enslavers and slave traders.
Right.
The British and the English, the Dutch. And that's what happened. And it was intentional. It's intentional. It's because then white status, that implicit, not realizing. So it's intentional to keep it there. Like, it's not my fault. It got to be something else. Because you're blaming me. It's not about blame. It's like, do you realize? That's what racism does. It denies the fact that the privilege is there systematically.
And that's why, like, you get excuses like, we all have the same 24.
That's right.
We all have the same. No, we don't.
Yeah, we're not.
No,
I
we
hear
don't.
I don't see color. See
Right.
color.
See color.
See it.
Right.
See my
Yes.
differences and understand your own differences.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yes.
we don't look alike. So
Yeah.
what privilege do you have? What privilege do I have?
Exactly.
What don't I
Yeah.
have? See me.
Just based
Yeah.
off the eye test.
Yeah.
It's the eyeballing.
It's the eye test.
So that's what the family has been saying to you without having the words to explain it.
That's why when you said it, I was like, I love
It's real because that is the veil that's given in other Latino cultures and other, like, even Brazilian, like Capoeira, Lord, I need to go back, right? Cape Verdean culture.
Oh, yeah.
My family is Cape Verdean as well. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's
Tell me
certain
how I feel
islands
them
that
all
are
the time.
starker and lighter.
Yeah.
Right, my family. So I knew because my family are black, and even though I have some uncles that are more fair skinned, the same thing. We didn't see them as white because all their siblings. But yet, if they walked in, Uncle Junio has lighter color eyes. If he walked in, it's gonna look different than his children.
But even that term, like, fair skin right there, what is that?
Uh-huh.
I think about that. I'm like, what do you mean fair?
Fair,
Right.
Like,
Hell
so
yeah,
darker
say
ain't
that
fair
again.
no more?
Fair,
Take
right.
a moment.
I'm like,
Yeah.
What is
darker ain't
fair
fair no
skin?
more.
Language.
I'm like, just use it.
Oh,
That's-
we
Wow.
haven't even said
What?
that.
That has, that's never
I think
crossed my
about that all
mind
the time,
in
like,
that
fair.
aspect.
It's like, damn, dark
Not
ain't fair no
unfair.
more. The darker you are, the
Unfair.
unfair.
The unfair you get.
Yeah.
Because I've always all right, fair and light bright and what's that,
Yeah.
red bone
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of the things.
That's one of
I've
them
been
terms I'm
afforded
like,
certain things from having softer, straighter hair. Well, curly, straight, depending on the day. I don't know. But having a
That's
different
what it
hair
is.
texture, having long hair, being lighter.
Yeah.
I was still treated different whether it gave me benefit or harm.
Same. Because it's in
Pretty
one-
boy, you think you
Yeah,
better than
right,
you think you
right.
better than everyone.
Yeah.
Isn't that some shit?
But yeah, that fair skin, I'm like, I always heard that in her. I was like, fair with it. You talking about
Wow,
F-A-R-E,
we're gonna sit with that one.
F-A-R-E.
Oh, we have to bring that back in generational trauma.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
And
we
it's
gonna bring
terms
that
like
back.
that. They keep, I'm fair skinned.
That's right.
It's like, what the fuck you mean?
Right.
Because I get treated more fair.
Right.
Right.
Ooh.
Right. Mhm.
Say it. Not cool. But
Sip
say
that
it.
tea.
Still.
Let's sip that tea. That's some bitter herbs.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
That's that. Right. You gotta
Yeah.
pause sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sit with that.
Soak that one
And
in.
it's okay to have a moment to like reflect.
That
right?
part. Because I think we be
About-
trying
because
to
it's so
move
deep.
through it. Hell yeah.
It's a deep construct
Yeah.
and it goes back so far, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it transcends so much of like what's going on today, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. So
It's
yeah.
like right when you think you reached a certain barrier,
Come
it's
on.
like
Right.
there's more. Boom.
Absolutely.
It's like we talking about race, boom, fair skin, boom. Oh my God, we ain't even got to that part yet.
Right.
Right,
And
right.
the fact that it's a construct.
Right.
Absolutely.
That it was
So
made
many
up in the
things.
first goddamn place.
Right.
Yeah.
I always
And we still operating out of it. We still checking them boxes.
right. And we say we being more inclusive, right? It's like, well, then why do we still have these boxes? To be inclusive
Right.
is to
We
take the
gotta
boxes
fit in the
away.
box. I just
Yeah.
said that yesterday. Why are
To
we
take
trying
it
to
away.
fit in the box?
And
brings-
I have a
go
question
ahead.
for you, Ty. So, do you ever get, what are you mixed with?
Yep.
All the time, right? I'm like, why do you assume I mean, you light skinned. I'm like, so,
And you hear
And you got the curly
yeah,
hair.
you got curly hair. I'm like, so do black people not have, light skin? I mean, I'm just saying, because you got some white in you. I'm like, oh, okay. So I gotta have white because I'm light skinned. And they like, I'm just saying. I'm like, what are you saying? And they like, You know what I mean? I was like, no, I
No.
don't.
We
If
don't.
I don't subscribe to it, if I don't believe that, no, it's like, you know, a black woman can make a baby that looks like any other
Because the
race, ethnicity, right?
what we say, original.
Right,
We
I'm
said
like,
that.
so
Yeah.
The
if you know
original.
that means I can still, you know, be black or, you know, have my African roots and I can look like a white person, I can look like an Asian person, I can look like, you know, anybody, but I'm like, you just automatically assume light skin, curly hair.
Because white has been framed
Right.
as the dominant.
Right.
The original, like,
And they don't even know when I go in these spaces with mostly white people. Definitely when they hear me talk, they already looking at me like, okay, he
Black.
can't pass. And then I open my mouth, they like, oh, he's really black. And then, but they like, and then they looking at me like, oh, he's a smart nigga. I'm
Like, you can't be light, black,
Right.
and smart.
Yeah, I can't.
Right.
Nah, and then like, you know, you see some of their
Conundrum.
eyes, they like, I wonder can he dance. They not gonna get that out of me,
Oh
but
my
it's
God.
like, man,
she started with the tears.
for real. But yes, I get it all the time. I know
too.
your mama white. I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
a little boy, definitely. They called my phone. Well, they called the house. You know, they hear my mom. They heard her voice. They like, I didn't know your mama was white. Why is she white? She sound like a white woman. What is she? How does she sound like a white woman?
Ooh, I
Cause she
don't
just
like
sounds
that.
so proper and I'm like, proper. Oh, that's crazy. I'm like, you want her to get on the phone and curse you? Call her back. Like, I'm like, what is she supposed to sound mad? Like,
Right.
But even that, right? It's like
The angry black woman.
right, because she pronounces her words clearly, and because she has a higher pitched tone. Oh, she white. Because if she was black, her voice would be deeper. She wouldn't say her
Right.
words as clearly. And it's like, what?
Ooh.
The articulation.
I
burns
want
me
to
up.
hold that
Right.
because I think about something with Latino culture. Hold that. What was you going to say?
Oh, it just brings back my life, just growing up, constantly being told I have a deep black woman voice. But to be told by so many of my peers that look like me, I talk like a white girl. One of the first things I said was, oh, you don't call me a white girl. Thank you. I am
And
who
I was
I
like,
am.
why?
Right. But just to hear that was your mother's experience, I relate to that so much, and it's so offensive.
Right.
I had a white boy at a gas station tell me I sound like a white girl. And you know, I can go from one extreme to the other. And of
We
course,
know.
I went to the other extreme, you know, but do I sound black now?
Let's
So,
help you.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I hear
Wow.
that.
My friends who get that, I always tell them, don't believe that's bullshit.
And so something I saw recently, and because my family has these different identities, but we didn't see them so different, they black, right? Negra. And my cousin's name is Negro. Like, it's interesting that, listen, my family, oh yeah. And so I shared, that's why I spoke English. One of my uncles taught it to me. I have family that's Costa Rican and Cape Verde and all those things. And so that is a thing that I saw recently, is that if Latinas get angry, it's sexy.
I just saw
Yeah.
a
But if
post
black
like that.
women do,
Then
it's
you're
hostile.
angry.
It's hostile,
Why you being so
aggressive.
aggressive for?
Yes.
I saw that, and I
Yes.
think which one depend on how they look, because again, if you see my family, is it sexy, or unless you hear that accent, like what is it that makes it sexy for them? Because if they show up like what you perceive as black, I don't know, what is it? And so I wonder about that.
Yeah.
Go even deeper, like, why do we perceive that as black?
That-
Right.
That's
In the
what
first
I'm
place.
getting to.
Yeah.
And why is it Latina, like Latin, that is separate? Because there's black
Right.
Latins. That is what I mean. We keep separating.
Yeah.
I've heard people say I'm black and Puerto Rican, or I'm black and this, or I'm black and Mexican. I was like, why are you just not a black Mexican?
Right.
Right.
Like, well, my black come on one side, but you're,
Right, then.
if
You just
you
black.
got brown and black Mexican parents, they're black Mexicans.
Right.
So are you African American?
Black folk from
And,
Mexico.
right,
simple.
right.
Right.
So what do you think about that? I mean, before, because I know we got so much to unpack. What do you think about that? She's like, oh shit.
This is really so much. We could spend hours on
Yes,
this topic
exactly.
alone.
Each
right?
one, right?
The fact that there is so much separation.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the mechanic earlier today, y'all, and the person that helped me I assumed that he was Mexican by the way he looked. And I told him, I was like, oh, I'm doing some research, whatever. Can I ask you some personal questions? And he was dark, maybe like you, Charlene. And I said, what do you identify as? He said, when you go to check the boxes on applications, he said, well, the closest thing to me is white. And that floored me because I'm like, where do you look white at? I was concerned. I wasn't concerned. I was curious.
Look, you know what I told you.
I said I'm white.
He said, well, if I could say that I was Native American, then I would say that. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, so what makes, I'm still curious.
Why are you not Native American?
Why are you not Native American then? I thought I saw that on one of the boxes.
We trying to fit in the box.
I think it's on. It's like number 4.
We can count them off, right? Isn't that something?
And when we go to PR, or when we go to Mexico, when we go to Costa Rica, when we go to these Latin-spoken, Spanish-spoken countries and areas, the complete is segregated within the community itself.
Yeah.
Down to the same jobs that you get.
Yeah.
Because my prima was there, she's living there, and she said that she had to get a casino job because that's all that they would give them.
Wow.
She didn't want to work at the gas station. She didn't want to work at the plant. So that's the next best thing.
Wow.
Because other than that, they won't give anyone who is dark-skinned the quote-unquote good jobs.
Wow. So when we talk about, right, we opened up a can of worms. We probably have to come back to this, y'all. Well, not probably. We're going to have to come back to this.
Yes, definitely, because it ties into health, too. And the
Right.
people that we've been trying to help and the discrimination
And thinking,
that is
and this is a communal culture, right?
Yeah.
And the other part is Latin culture is communal.
Yeah.
It is family and it's narrative.
Yep.
So oftentimes when getting help, they need to tell their story first before even getting to what I need help with. And it's a little different than oppressive where we're guilty to proven innocent. It's a narrative. So I tell my narrative first. And it is in communal cultures as well. You need to know my father's father. You need to know my story. Not a past, like, I'm explaining away a thing so that, and it's different. But it's still connected because once you enter oppressive societies, right, it's now, I'm not that thing. I need to be proximity to this and anti-black, even though I have been black all my time. So we gotta come back to this, y'all, because I know it's that time. And listen, family, listen, we gonna come back. Come on back with us, okay? And can y'all just say your names of who you is before we close on out? They just busted up in the house and we just jumped on and we got into it. Let them know who you are.
I'm Sharice McGill, licensed clinical social worker with Harmony Health. I'm the operations director here as well. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
I'm Taki Spinks. I am a mental health counselor here with Harmony Health. So, what's going on, y'all? I know I crashed the party, but look, it was for a good cause.
It was. That was dope.
It's the family party, bro. What you talking about?
That's how we do
Look,
it.
me and my fair skin, you know.
That's right. It's for real. Because I said, you mix or you got Puerto Rican family.
all the
No, I
time.
actually do. But why is that different? Right. So, all right, y'all. We will see you next. Come back through if you want to be a family member. www.harmonyhealthpllc.com. Come back to YouTube. We'll be checking you out again. Peace. Wow. That was a journey. And thank you for joining us. If you'd like to join our family, visit us at www.harmonyhealthpllc.com. And if you want to take the next mission with us, you're more than welcome. Come visit us back on YouTube. And till then, don't forget your tea.